10:38 on this Tuesday morning. I'm Rekha Mudaraj, and we're interrupting programming for breaking news. An HPD officer has been shot while responding to a call in Spring Branch. He is now in the hospital. All of this unfolding in just the last hour. We want to get straight to our reporter, Stephen Goen, who just got to the scene minutes ago. Stephen, what can you tell us?
Rekha, right now on the scene, we are seeing Houston Police and Texas DPS officers who are here. They are searching this area for a third suspect who we are told was involved in this home invasion where a Houston police officer was shot. If you want to take just a look right here behind me, you can see some of the crews that are here on scene looking for this suspect. We're told that this officer was shot and transported to the hospital, and they are in stable condition. That is according to the Houston mayor on social media. Rekha.
Right, Stephen, thank you. We're also learning that this call came in around 9:45 this afternoon. The mayor's office saying that the officer was responding to a home invasion. Can you tell me a little bit about the area where all of this is happening? We know that this is in the Spring Branch area, very close to that IKEA store that many people know about.
Exactly. There's an IKEA store and some more shopping close by. This is mostly a residential area. There's also a funeral home, it appears, and a cemetery right across the street from this residential area. So this is a place where it seems a lot of people are living. The home invasion here happening right behind us on just one of these residential streets. Rekha?
Stephen, you mentioned that the mayor's office was tweeting that 2 people have been detained. They're looking for a third suspect. Can you describe the scene there a little bit? Is there some urgency in that neighborhood? Do they believe that third person is in the vicinity?
That's what it looks like. There appears to be kind of a search going on actively right now. Of course, there are, our news choppers flying overhead, but we believe there's also a law enforcement helicopter flying overhead. And like I mentioned before, we have Houston Police and Texas DPS both here on the ground looking for this suspect, as well as, I believe, other law enforcement agencies. Their crews are also behind us looking for this suspect. They've not moved since we've been here. We've been here about 15 minutes. So it does appear that the home invasion might have happened really close by, and that third suspect might still be really close by as well. Rekha.
All right. We also understand that the officer was taken to Memorial Hermann by ambulance. Again, that officer in stable condition. And we understand HPD is going to be giving us a briefing from the medical center. More on that. We don't know about the injuries that he sustained, but again, that officer in stable condition at the medical center. Stephen, I want to ask you a little bit about, again, we talked about the search there. Have neighbors been coming outside trying to get more information? Has anyone come up to you and asked about or told you about anything that might be happening in the neighborhood?
Yeah, we mentioned the funeral home and the cemetery that's right across the street from the scene. We want to show you more of the scene actually right now. So just take a look. This is what's going on right now. But we spoke to some of the workers at this funeral home and cemetery. They actually came out to speak to us and ask us what was going on. No police had been by. No one had told them what was happening. We briefly explained what we knew, and they were surprised to hear about it. They said, things like this are not happening normally in this neighborhood. So a lot of people are concerned from what we can tell out here. But from what we can tell, this cemetery across the street was not notified. As far as neighbors who are closer to the scene, possibly closer to this home invasion, we've not yet spoken to them. So we are still trying to get a little bit closer. But of course, we're trying to let police do their investigation as well, Rekha.
As they're looking for this third suspect, are officers going around telling folks to stay in their home, lock their doors? Do they believe this third person is armed and dangerous?
That's hard to tell at this moment. We have seen officers going from door to door. We can't quite tell what exactly it is they're doing. And there has been no mention yet if this suspect is armed or dangerous. Of course, we know that a police officer was shot, so one of these suspects must have had a weapon or used a weapon at some point, but we're not quite sure what this third suspect might or might not have with them, Rekha.
All right, as we approach, it's 10:43 now. So this call came in an hour ago at 9:45. We understand the mayor's office saying that an HPD officer was responding to a home invasion. This is in the 7100 block of Alderney Drive, just east of Antoine. This is in Spring Branch, and that's where our Stephen Goen is live on the ground, giving us that picture that's in the smaller box there. We just saw Air 11, but now in the larger box, you have the map there showing where all of this is taking place. This is just, again, north of I-10. A lot of folks recognize where that IKEA is. If you live in the area or drive by that area, this is in a neighborhood just behind that shopping center. Now, we understand that the officer was taken to Memorial Hermann by ambulance. The mayor's office tweeting that the officer is in stable condition. Again, don't know what injuries the officer sustained. We know that he was shot, but again, reported to be in stable condition, and that's always the good news, especially when, because he was transported by the ground. But HPD again saying that 2 people have been detained at the scene. Officers searching for a 3rd suspect, given the police presence. Stephen, can you tell us again, since you're on the ground and we're taking a look at your live picture right there, can you tell us a little bit more about the scene and what's sort of unfolding with that large police presence there?
Right, this large police presence is right at the intersection of, it appears, Antoine Drive and Heartland Avenue. We're seeing a lot of police kind of focused just on one home here, but then further down Antoine Drive, we're seeing more officers continuing to drive that way. We believe the search for this 3rd suspect is right around here, and we believe this home invasion was right around here as well. Reka.
All right, Stephen, thank you so much. And again, that officer taken to Memorial Hermann. We're hoping to hear from officials. A news briefing will be happening at the medical center. We don't know what time, but of course, we'll bring you those details as soon as we get them. Again, this is a developing story. We're going to bring you the updates throughout the morning on air and online.
If you're just joining our live stream, what you're seeing right now is an investigation in the Spring Branch area after an HPD officer was shot responding to a home invasion. My name is Leah Wilson from the digital desk at KHOU 11.
Really? Everybody's sidetracked by that fire, I suppose.
The information that we have right now is that the officer was rushed to Memorial Hospital. We're not sure of his condition just yet, but we are working to find that out. We do have crews on the scene at the hospital and here where the search is happening. Earlier, you may have seen in the stream that someone was handcuffed next to the squad car, but it hasn't been confirmed yet if that was the suspect or someone connected to the shooting.
On our end, though, we were hoping to get an update before then or by then on this shooting incident, and then decide. Not positive yet. So give us a little time to get the answer before then.
Okay, we are taking copy. So we're let me know by at least 11:25. So I just let them know to get going.
So let's recap what we know so far as we see Area 11 over the Spring Branch area. We know that around 10 o'clock this morning, an officer was shot responding to a home invasion. This was an HPD officer. The officer was taken to Memorial Hermann, but we don't know that officer's condition just yet. We do know that 2 people were taken into custody and a third person they were searching for, and that's what we see now. You did see earlier in this stream that someone was handcuffed next to the squad car, but we don't know yet if that person is connected to the shooting. We're waiting to find that out. Details right now are very limited. This happened on Alderney Drive near Antoine, just north of the Katy Freeway, near the IKEA along I-10. Mayor Whitmire's office did release a statement that said, in part, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to our brave first responders who put their lives on the line every day to keep our community safe. Your dedication and sacrifice do not go unnoticed. That is a statement from the mayor's office. Again, details are limited. We're over the scene in the Spring Branch area where there was a search for a suspect after an officer was shot responding to a home invasion. We will give you more details as soon as they come in. Leah Wilson with the KHOU 11 Digital Desk, here to give you an update. We do understand, and we're just learning that police are still searching for a third suspect after the officer was shot in Spring Branch while responding to a home invasion. For those of you who are just joining the stream, this is Area 11 over that scene. And what we know so far is that the call came in around 10 o'clock this morning that an officer was shot. That officer was taken to Memorial Hermann Hospital. We do not have that officer's condition just yet, but we are working to find that out. We have a reporter there at the hospital and one here at the scene that you're watching right now. It happened on Alderney Drive near Antoine Drive, north of the Katy Freeway, near the IKEA along I-10. We do know that 2 people are in custody, and again, they are still searching for a third suspect. Those around this area are asked to avoid the area. Again, we do not know the condition of the officer yet. The mayor's office did release a statement saying, "I want to extend my deepest gratitude to our brave first responders who put their lives on the line every day to keep our community safe. Your dedication and sacrifice do not go unnoticed." That again is the statement from the mayor's office. Stay with us while we continue to get new details, and we will bring you the latest.
Everybody good? Okay, Chief, I'm live now.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Today is a very busy day for us this morning. Earlier today, we had a 911 call dispatch into the 7100 block of Alderney. We had an incident where two young men approached the residence, knocked on the door. When the homeowner opened the door, they rushed the homeowner. The neighbor was wise enough across the street, saw it happen, and dialed 911. A two-man team from the Houston Police Department Patrol Division responded in under 4 minutes. We got there, the door was ajar. As we walked through, both officers saw a female and a young child in the living area of the residence. The officers are dressed in police uniforms. They approach the right side of the residence as you walk in through the door. At that time, a suspect dressed in some sort of hoodie shot at the officer, striking the officer one time in his lower extremities. The officer returned fire. The second officer went after a second suspect that was inside of the home, secured that suspect. He was arrested inside the home. The second suspect was caught nearby. The one that actually shot our police officer was caught nearby. The second officer administered first aid. It just did incredible work to our injured officer, applied a tourniquet to one of his lower extremities. The homeowner's safe. Just incredible response time, incredible police work by our team. Both suspects are 20 to 25-year-old Hispanic males, and they're both secured. There is a possibility of a third suspect, but we have teams of police officers now. We have people from the DPS TAG assisting with us, which is a gang. There's no gang nexus that we know of yet, but they're helping scour the area to make sure that if there is a third person, we'll catch him. Right now, there's no threat in the immediate community. It's just our officers are in good spirits, so we're very lucky today. Any questions?
By any chance, was this connected to a previous call for an assault possibly at a Walmart?
I don't know that answer, no, ma'am.
Chief,
What-
you mentioned,
Yes, sorry.
you mentioned that once the officers enter the home, they saw a woman and a child. It sounds like the suspect shoots at them at the lower extremity. That's where I kind of lost.
Okay, so when we walk into the front door, I guess into the immediate living room, we see the homeowner and a small child. As we move towards the right, because we knew that there was a home invasion, we went into a walkway or an area, not a walkway, a doorway, and the suspect came out of what we think is a bedroom and shot immediately at the officer. The officer returned fire, did not strike the suspect, but that was the suspect that ran out the back. The second officer proceeded to clear the home, and he caught the other suspect, secured him, and then came back and administered life-saving first aid to our police officer.
So there was two officers there?
There's two officers. It was a two-man unit, yes.
And that second suspect was at the home when that second officer.
Two
arrested him.
suspects were inside the home. He was in a rear bedroom as well, and that officer secured him, handcuffed him, and brought him back with him to administer first aid to our police officer.
Did the officers have any reason to think these suspects were armed as they were entering the house?
They did not, no.
What's the condition of the mother and child?
They weren't treated at the scene, but our victim services is helping them there at the home. So right now, we don't know of any injuries that they sustained. The response time was incredible, under 4 minutes, so we got there pretty quick.
What do we think these guys were doing? I mean, were they fleeing from something? Were they just trying to steal stuff from the house? What do we think their motive was?
I can't speak to their motive, but they knocked on the door according to the 911 caller, and then when the woman opened the door, they rushed the home, so probably to burglarize the home.
Can you remind us what time it was again?
Sure. The 911 call dropped at 9:40
Okay.
a.m. and we got there just under at 9:44.
When we look at this situation, how worse off could this have been?
Well, again, I have to thank the neighbor, right? Because the homeowner didn't dial 911. It was the neighbor across the street that actually saw the two gentlemen or two suspects come and knock on the door, and then saw them go in, and that neighbor thought it was odd. So that neighbor saved the day, right? Being neighbors and being caring for each other. won the day today.
What can you tell us about the officer who was wounded and the officer who helped them? What are their experience levels?
Okay, the officer that was wounded is a 9-year veteran, all on patrol. Again, he's got an injury to his lower extremity, and he did a phenomenal job today. I'm not sure on the second officer his status, the years of service, but I think around 12 years as well.
You said he applied a tourniquet?
He applied a tourniquet to our injured officer's leg and stopped the bleeding that he had.
Is that something that your officers are equipped with?
Yes, everyone in the police department carries one.
Was there a getaway car?
That was reported that there was a white vehicle, a suspect vehicle, but we were not able to determine it right away. So the teams that we have working the area are looking for a white vehicle, possibly.
What kind of vehicle?
It's just a 4-door small car, possibly a Honda is what we were told, but we're not sure with that information.
The third person's in that one possibly?
We don't know. If it was a third person, we just saw a white, smaller vehicle, a suspicious vehicle driving back and forth near the home. It may have been just somebody looking at the police activity at the residence.
Is there roadblocks, perimeters up there
Right now, there's no roadblocks, there's no perimeters or anything like that.
Can you talk a little bit about the life-saving training that officers get? How often do they get it? How important is it that officers know how to do these life-saving measures to help not only the public but each other?
It's critical. So, you know, we task our police officers with a lot of special training. It's almost every year we're asked to do something more difficult as the normal police officer is used to. But that is one of the specialized training, and we provided tourniquets in the training because it's going to save a life. And it's not just for the police; it's also for a victim of a crime or a fireman injured. So the men and women of the Houston Police Department are very well trained, the best in the business. So today's is a point that they were ready and they were prepared and perhaps actually saved our officer's life with a tourniquet.
How many guns were recovered from the scene?
We have recovered 1 gun at the scene, and I understand that the second young man that was arrested, detained quickly, also had a gun in his possession.
So there were 2 guns, one on each suspect?
Each suspect had a handgun, yes,
Just
ma'am.
the one shot that was fired?
Just one person shot.
Okay, and one single shot or multiple shots?
Multiple shots.
Okay.
Is there a message to the community when it comes to this situation? We know that the mom was there with the child, I don't know if it was her child, opened the door. I wonder if there's any advice for police when it comes to that kind of thing.
Well, the message is know who's coming to your home. Make sure that you just don't open your home to anybody. Make sure that we're locking our doors when we're at our homes. And again, my hat's off to the neighbor for being vigilant and taking care of their neighbor, caring about their community and getting involved and helping us help them, right? The response time was incredible. I have to keep harping on that because that 2-man team did an incredible job today for this community.
Is there any message you have to give your men and women? I think there's been at least 2 fatal shootings of police officers this year. There might be more non-fatal shootings.
My message is thank you. You know, this team does an incredible job. It's no secret we're short-staffed, but every single day, this is a real police department. Every single day, the men and women of this office, they bring their A game. And the bad guys need to know that this is a serious police department, that we're well-trained, and we will absolutely do our jobs in this community to make sure that our citizens are getting exceptional police services. And I want to just mention that I got several calls from John Whitmire, keeping up with our teammates, and I want to thank him for his concern and all the city council for their calls and their prayers. This is a collective group. This is a team effort here, and we're working every day to make this office, this police department, the best in the business.
Were you able to talk to the officer who was shot? How is he? Is he talking? Is he coherent?
I spoke to him briefly, and he's in very good spirits. He's a hero in my book, hero status all the way. The entire thing was just incredible, and it didn't happen like in the movies. It happens fast-paced. It happens quickly. So both of our police officers today were just tremendous assets to this community, and they did an incredible job.
And he's still here recovering.
He's still here recovering, yes, madam.
How was he transported here to the hospital? Was it by police cruiser, HFD?
He was treated by the Houston Fire Department in an ambulance, and I want to thank them for the incredible work they did on the back of the box. It's serious. This is a true public safety team, and oftentimes they don't get the credit, but they do the hard work as well. And I want to thank the dispatchers for taking the call and sending it to the right street, because it all worked today.
Anything in Spanish?
Yeah.
Anybody else in English?
Yeah.
Yes, real.
Go.
Do you have any sense of how much time it took between the tourniquet and the officer, him being shot, the tourniquet, and then him getting in the hospital? And how critical is that time?
That time is absolutely critical, but I can tell you probably 35 seconds, 40 seconds by the time that the officer applying the tourniquet secures the suspect in the back room, brings the suspect with him, lays him down near our officer, and then applies the tourniquet. So that slows it stops the bleeding, right? So then HFD did an incredible job transporting our officer. But once we get the talented staff that we have at the Houston Fire Department, we're in good hands.
So within 40 seconds or so.
40 seconds from the time he secures, brings back approximately, and gets the tourniquet on our staff member. Great work today.
What leads
Return
you to
shots,
believe?
were return shots fired at all?
The officer that was injured returned one shot.
Okay, and then
No,
do we,
forgive me. He shot 2 or 3 times, did not try to strike the suspect,
and do we
and
have
that's
a-
still under review.
Do we have a general age range of the child, infant, newborn, 5, under 5, under 10?
I'm going to say under 5. I mean, I haven't gotten that far, but it's a small child.
Do the suspects have any priors? What do we know about them?
We're working through that now. We'll release that when we have that information.
And just to be
Let's
clear,
go
the
ahead and get
officer
Spanish
wasn't
done.
seriously wounded. Just to be clear, the officer wasn't seriously wounded.
The officer was seriously wounded.
But he's in stable
He's in
condition,
stable
sorry.
condition. Yes, he was seriously wounded. Yes, madam.
Go ahead.
What
Get
leads,
Spanish
you,
done, please.
what leads you to believe that there may be a third suspect?
The neighbors, they saw a white vehicle driving back and forth as our police cruiser is there. So it's a suspect vehicle. We're not sure if that vehicle is in play at all.
Where was he shot again?
In the lower extremities, in the leg.
Guys, let's get Spanish done, please.
All right, you want to do it?
It's up to you.
Okay, buenos días. Muchas gracias por el tiempo. Para que vengan nuestros socios mediáticos aquí al hospital, le quiero dar las muy sinceras gracias al Hospital Hermann Hospital, a Memorial Hermann, por su gracia de ayudarnos aquí hoy ese día. ¿Alguna pregunta?
Sí, recapitulemos todo.
Okay.
Empezó a qué hora y luego 2 personas. Toda
Okay.
la historia.
I'll try and you help me if I need to. Hoy en la mañana, como a las 9:40 de la mañana, recibimos una llamada del 911 de un vecino de una casa en la cuadra 7100 Alderney. El vecino reportó que vio a 2 personas sospechosos entrar a la puerta de una casa y se le hizo sospechosa a esa persona, por eso le habló al 911. Nosotros respondimos, una patrulla con 2 patrulleros, respondimos y llegamos antes, en menos de 4 minutos. A la entrada de la casa vimos a la señora de la casa y a un niño bajo de 5 años en la sala de la casa. El oficial entró. Cuando entró, en menos de 4 o 5 segundos, encontró a uno de los sospechosos en una recámara detrás de la casa. Cuando el sospechoso vio al policía, el sospechoso les disparó 3 o 4 veces, no estamos seguros ahorita. Y en esos entonces nuestro oficial disparó para atrás. El oficial recibió una herida en una de las piernas y el otro policía que entró con él arrestó al otro sospechoso en una de las recámaras de atrás de la casa. Entonces, a ese tiempo, el policía que arrestó al muchacho, porque eran 2 muchachos hispanos de 20 a 25 años de edad, lo movió de la recámara con las esposas cerca al pareja de él, al partner, y entonces le hizo tratamiento médico para que no se hiciera peor la herida.
Al momento que encontraron a los sospechosos, tenían algo en las manos, a lo mejor estaban intentando robar algo o simplemente estaban buscando alrededor.
Llegamos tan rápido que empezaron a robar dentro de la casa. No tuvieron tiempo de llevar nada porque no respondieron tan rápido. Los encontramos en medio del robo.
¿Creen que ellos llegaron caminando o también se está buscando?
Ahorita no estamos seguros. Cuando el vecino nos habló al 911, tenemos entendido que esa persona vio que caminaron sobre la puerta, tocaron a la puerta, la señora les abrió la puerta.
¿Y piensa que hay otro
Posible otra persona porque pasó un carro blanco de 4 puertas pequeño varias veces, no estamos seguros. Ahorita no estamos, lo seguro que estamos que tenemos los 2 sospechosos que entraron a la casa detenidos y están pendientes de cargos.
¿Y ¿Qué es lo que ustedes piden de la comunidad a pasar todo esto?
Lo que les pido es que hagan lo que hizo el vecino, que se cuiden uno al otro, que reporten si ven algo sospechoso, porque si nosotros no lo sabemos, no podemos responder. No estamos en posición de saber todo lo que está pasando. Es una ciudad gran, enorme, pero si estás viendo que tu vecino está algo sospechoso en su casa, llámenos para nosotros responder como hoy.
Y la señora que pues ella misma le abrió la puerta,
Claro.
¿qué se le recomienda a los residentes?
Sí, si no conoces a quién viene a la puerta, mejor que se fijen por la puerta a quién entrar. Y si ven que no es alguien que están esperando, llámenos a la policía.
Las víctimas en este caso, la dueña de la casa, también estamos hablando de una persona hispana.
No estoy seguro. No sé qué raza es. Any other questions?
When you say lower extremities, are we talking about the
In
thighs?
the leg, in the thigh. Yep. Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
One last thing. This will be reviewed, and it'll the body worn camera data will release in the next 30 days, on or about 30 days.
Can you release the officer's name yet?
I'm not ready.
Crime Stoppers for any additional information?
If there's any information, just notify Crime Stoppers. If you saw something, if you drove by, if you have a camera in your vehicle, if you recorded something on a cell phone, please call Crime Stoppers to let them know that you have information, and help us, help the community, help us provide exceptional services.
Were the officers wearing their vests at the time?
Yes, they were both wearing vests. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. That's all I got. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.